Madam Speaker, in congratulating our head of state, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, and also congratulating the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I've had the fortune and the experience of having worked with Raila for over 30 years. And the one thing that, regardless of whether you like him or you don't like him, that you must admit is the energy he has and the passion he has for transformational politics. I also happen to know, as also one of the founder members initially of ODM, our president, William Samoei Ruto, because I campaigned with him in the 2007 elections when we were in the same party. And he has a lot of energy, a lot of passion, a lot of wisdom, and a lot of good intention for this country. I haven't had the opportunity of meeting the president's late father, but I've had the opportunity of working with the president, with Right Honorable Raila Odinga's late father. And we worked together in this parliament. And up until the last time when he breathed his last breath, he was working with us in parliament here like any other young man. With that advanced age, he would still discuss with us matters that were current in our political sphere, including the bills, including all the committees in the House here, because we happen to have been from the same party. Madam Speaker, it's a pity that we see ourselves as hyphenated Kenyans. And we demonize hard work. We demonize wisdom. We demonize aspirations and ambitions and achievements by looking at it where that person comes from. And I know that because we suffer the same things. As a community, when we work very hard, the stuff that goes out is that the Somalis, they're taking over the country. They're doing very well. This is one thing that should have made every Kenyan proud, that other Kenyans are doing very well in terms of development, in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of athletics, in terms of academia, everything. Madam Speaker, I want to tell our country, I host a nation, or rather a constituency, which houses in excess of 450,000 refugees. And those people are from the same tribe, the same ethnicity, the same religion, the same looks, the same denomination within Islam. They are all, we have got 4 denominations within the Sunni Muslim, but then they are Shafi'is. And still, when you have a failed state, the amount of mayhem, the amount of destruction, and the amount of suffering is unimaginable and incalculable. I want to warn my Kenyan brothers and sisters, starting with members of parliament. Let's not divide our country. Let's not divide our country. Look at the Congo DRC in the period of time since Mobutu Sese Seko was overthrown. They've lost about 6 million lives. And there is no light at the end of the tunnel. Madam Speaker, I would beg you to give me 2 more minutes if you can. Madam Speaker, we are 44 nations in this country here, with 44 different languages, with different looks, with different regions. If I've seen Somalia, I've traveled from one end of that country to the other end. You can't tell one clan from the other unless you ask. And invariably, in most cases, when you ask, they will tell you the right clan. And they're all related to one another. And you can still see we have got in excess of 800 Somali refugees here. 450,000 in my 800,000. 450,000 in my constituency.
African Union. Mr. Speaker, I've just finished reading a book called Ikigai that talks about the Japanese secret to a long life. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that they talk about that contributes to a long life is never retiring. And Mr. Speaker, I'm never retiring. And that you never retire when you have discovered your Ikigai, which is your purpose for living. Very few people in life discover their purpose in life. One of them is Honorable Raila Odhiambo. And his purpose in life is service to humanity. It doesn't matter how much people want to pour in dirt on him. Younger generations who do not know what he has done over the years, you can never take away his Ikigai. And I would want to encourage those who are busy talking a lot of nonsense around him, find your own purpose in life and live it fully and never retire. Because when you find your purpose in life, Mr. Speaker, you are always happy regardless of circumstances. So that's why even whether he wins or loses, it doesn't matter. Mr. Speaker, there are many of us at 20 years or 30 or 40, 50 who will not be brave enough to go for such a position. Can you imagine a person who at 80 years is willing to dare out and go for such a position? Whether he wins or not does not matter. It is inspirational enough that at that age, he's gone out there. But I want to also congratulate and thank His Excellency President William Ruto for the work that he has done for Honorable Raila Odhiambo in this regard, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when we went there, I went very cautiously optimistic. Not because I had less faith in the capabilities of Honorable Raila Odhiambo, but as a person who has worked in the Pan-African region with the Pan-African Parliament and other fora, Mr. Speaker, I understand the geopolitics very well, the issues of regional blocks, language blocks, amongst other issues, Mr. Speaker. And sometimes they come into play, including prevailing circumstances in the region. They sometimes come into play. Mr. Speaker, the other issues, including the fact that Honorable Raila Odhiambo was a towering figure that some people may have found a bit intimidating. His strength, as I've seen one writer say, may have been his weakness because some people can't deal with strong characters. Mr. Speaker, it is also an opportunity for the AU to introspect. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, sorry, I see you have changed. Madam Speaker, it's an opportunity for the AU to introspect because the issues of equity keep coming up and barriers based on language, religion, or other factors always keep coming up. The way they've tried to solve it in Pan-African Parliament is the way they need to solve it also at that level. Madam Speaker, I would also want to say that I've seen a narrative that people are trying to sell, that Raila always loses. Honorable Raila was a member of Langata for many years. Yes. Madam Speaker, he even resigned his position and went for by-election and won. And he has served as Prime Minister. And the one who is saying Raila would never will never win anything, has never even won a village elder position, and will never win a village elder position. So really, be factual and wish your fellow Kenyan well is when God will bless you. Madam Speaker, there are many Sanballats and Tobiases in this country. They are very noisy and even noisier than the people who have goodwill for this country. But I want to say that I was impressed by the equally high number of Kenyans who came to Ethiopia using their own resources. People came in buses, in bicycles, by air, and by all means. And they were all tribes, Madam Speaker. My time is up. I want to also thank them and say God works in mysterious ways. What you thought was going to work for ill has actually worked for good. We were fighting last week. We are now sitting calmly as a minority, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Farah Malik.